I was born to drive monster trucks. It's in my blood. It's what I dream of at night. It's what I wake up thinking about in the morning. And so I said, I'm not letting this opportunity slip through my fingers.
Diesel Dave, one of Heavy D's closest friends and a well-known face from the Diesel Brothers show, was full of energy and excitement. He was famous for his giant trucks, wild stunts, and the Diesel Power Gear brand. But behind all the fame and fun, there was a quiet problem that had been noticed many times, yet still left unaddressed. But how could the big-smiled, beard-rocking, truck-building showman from the Diesel Brothers be anything but harmless fun? Join us as we uncover a fascinating tale about Diesel Dave from Diesel Brothers. The delicate warning. While the Diesel Brothers focused on what they did best, entertaining fans and modifying trucks, others were worried about something most ignored: the environmental impact of these modifications in Utah. The Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment, UP, were especially concerned about the effects of each change on the environment. Their first formal warning to the Diesel Brothers came on July 27, 2016. This notice, sent to the Diesel Brothers, dieselers.com, and Diesel Power Gear, informed them that their actions violated federal environmental laws. The Diesel Brothers ignored it. On October 3, 2016, UPHE sent another warning through Reader law firm, pointing out further violations, particularly under Utah's state implementation plan, the state law protecting the environment. The letter highlighted issues such as removing or deactivating pollution control devices, installing and selling defeat devices designed to bypass emission systems, and operating or selling modified vehicles that did not meet emissions requirements. Despite these warnings, the Diesel Brothers continued their work, even creating bolder modifications and sharing them publicly. Because of their repeated disregard, UPHE filed a lawsuit on January 10, 2017, under the Clean Air Act. The lawsuit targeted David Sparks, Heavy D, Dave Kiley, Diesel Dave, Keaton Hoskins, Muscle, Josh Stewart, Weird Beard, and their affiliated businesses. UPHE pointed out that more than 60 days had passed since the initial notice, yet the Diesel Brothers had done nothing to address the violations. The Diesel Brothers defended themselves by claiming their trucks were meant only for off-road or competition use, which they believed exempted them from emissions rules. UPHE countered that some of these trucks were driven on public roads, contributing to pollution in Utah's Wasatch Front region. While UPHE also sued other companies, the Diesel Brothers case received the most attention due to their fame. The legal battle lasted for years. UPHE used social media to support their case, showing videos and posts of Diesel Brothers trucks with tampered emission systems on public roads. During this time, Heavy D posted on Instagram about the lawsuit affecting their business, saying a federal judge had stopped their large garage sales, but that they were back in business. In March 2020, U.S. District Judge Robert Shelby ruled against the Diesel Brothers. The court found that they had violated the Clean Air Act and state laws by tampering with or removing emissions controls on at least 31 diesel trucks, just as the lawsuit claimed. The ruling was also against other corporate officers responsible for hundreds of similar violations. For UPHE, the victory was more than legal. It was a win for clean air and public health. Brian Moshe, UPHE's president, called it a step toward healthier air in Utah and a clear message that no one is above the law. The Diesel Brothers faced severe penalties, spending over $848,000 in fines and legal fees, $761,451 in federal civil fines, and $90,000 to Davis County for local environmental programs. A permanent injunction also stopped them from removing pollution controls or selling vehicles without proper equipment. Judge Shelby noted that tampered vehicles emitted 36 times more nitrogen oxides and 20 times more particulate matter than legal models, and highlighted that the Diesel brothers profited from both the modifications and their fame. He warned that future violations could lead to contempt of court charges. The financial impact was significant. The Diesel brothers appealed, but the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Salt Lake City upheld the verdict in late 2021, confirming UP's right to sue and that the punishment was fair for the misconduct. They rejected the argument that modifying or selling vehicles removed liability. In 2024, the Diesel brothers managed a $225,000 reduction in their financial penalties. However, their reputation suffered, changing the direction of their business and what they could show on television. So, what legal tussle did Dave go through? Let's find out. Diesel Dave's legal battles. From the very beginning, Diesel Dave Kiley of the Diesel brothers stood out as more than just a skilled mechanic with a huge love for giant trucks. He quickly became one of the most recognizable faces of the Diesel brothers, always ready to share a laugh and bring energy that made fans feel like they were part of the team. But behind that cheerful personality was a hard-working man, pushing the Diesel brothers brand harder and faster than anyone had imagined. As Diesel Dave's fame grew, so did the problems around him. The first major issue came with a massive environmental lawsuit that put heavy pressure on their business. Regulators argued that the wild custom trucks featured on the show were not just creative builds, but were actually illegal for use on public roads. Both federal and state authorities claimed that modifications like rolling coal pipes and emission deletions were serious violations of clean air laws, not just harmless fun. This lawsuit made history because it was the first time private citizens had successfully sued television personalities over environmental issues. It also gave Diesel Dave and the Diesel brothers a bad image, making them seem like they were defying environmental laws, especially since they had already been warned before the case began. This raised tough questions. Did the Diesel brothers really know that what they were doing was harmful to the environment? And if they did, why did they ignore the warnings? The case put their credibility on trial. While some fans believed it was an unfair attack by the government, the court didn't see it that way. The ruling brought heavy legal and financial stress on the team. Suddenly, the fun of building and racing smoke-blowing trucks didn't seem so exciting anymore. After the environmental lawsuit came another major problem: a trademark battle. The famous fashion company Diesel accused Diesel Power Gear of copying its name to gain popularity and sales. What seemed like a fight over names soon turned into a debate about whether the Diesel brothers had crossed the line between creative entertainers and rule breakers. The court ruled in favor of the fashion brand Diesel, forcing Diesel Dave's company to pay a large amount in damages, a financial hit that even his humor couldn't ease. One lawsuit could have been seen as bad luck, but two made people wonder if there was more to the story. Some fans began to question whether the Diesel brothers had misled them all along. Still, many stayed loyal because of Diesel Dave himself. Away from the courtrooms and controversies, Diesel Dave showed the side of himself that fans loved: a husband and father who valued family more than fame. He used humor as a shield to deal with the stress that came from all the trouble. Laughter became his survival tool. The same man who made viewers laugh on screen used those jokes to keep himself going through dark times. Even while paying millions in fines and facing harsh criticism, Diesel Dave kept smiling. Yet the warnings had always been there, from environmentalists, lawyers, and critics who had long said his brand of entertainment was risky and wouldn't last forever. But most people didn't want to listen. To them, Diesel Dave wasn't a villain. He was a symbol of freedom, rebellion, and the power of laughter. Proof that even when life hits hard, you can still face it with a grin. But was there any infringement battle that further reduced Diesel Dave's reputation? Let's take a closer look. Diesel Dave's downfall. As if dealing with the UPH environmental lawsuit wasn't enough, the Diesel brothers, David Kiley and David Sparks, found themselves facing another legal battle. This time, it wasn't about trucks or modifications. It was about intellectual property connected to their clothing line, Diesel Power Gear LLC, which was part of the Diesel Brothers brand. In 2017, Diesel SPA, the well-known Italian fashion company famous for its denim and lifestyle products, sued Diesel Power Gear in the Southern District of New York over trademark issues. The problem arose because the Utah-based company used the word diesel in their clothing and gear line. Diesel SPA argued that this confused customers who might think Diesel Power Gear was linked to or endorsed by the famous brand. Diesel had been a protected and widely recognized trademark since the 1970s, and the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office had already sided with Diesel SPA by rejecting Diesel Power Gear's trademark applications after the dispute began. Despite this, the Diesel brothers kept using the name. The court later found that this wasn't accidental, but could be seen as deliberate infringement. After years of legal wrangling, on October 24, 2022, Judge Jennifer Roshan ruled in favor of Diesel SPA, confirming that Diesel Power Gear had violated the trademark. The disagreement then shifted to how much Diesel Power Gear owed. Diesel SPA claimed they should receive $59,100,000, the full net sales of Diesel Power Gear, arguing that no costs or expenses should be deducted. The Diesel brothers argued that only a portion of sales should count, and that business costs should reduce the amount. In May 2023, the court decided that awarding Diesel the full profit would be too much, and instead reduced the amount by 80%, ordering Diesel Power Gear to pay $1,800,000 in damages. Though far less than the original claim, it was still a large sum. For fans and the public, this was another disappointment. It showed that the Diesel brothers had again ignored warnings, pushed limits, and then had to face consequences for their choices. Supporters began questioning the credibility of their brand. For Diesel Dave, the impact was even harsher. His reputation had been built on family values, humor, and a friendly, trustworthy personality, qualities that made clients and fans feel comfortable. But these lawsuits chipped away at that image, leaving a mark on the reputation he had carefully cultivated. What was the after of the lawsuit? And what impact did it have on the Diesel Brothers show? Let's uncover the truth. Effect of the lawsuit. After the court ruling in March 2020, the consequences went far beyond just the Diesel brothers. Since they were TV personalities, national news quickly picked up the story, and it spread widely that they had been fined over $851,000 for breaking clean air rules. Many people began to wonder whether the brothers fully understood the impact of their actions, especially since they had been promoting truck modifications that caused air pollution. Environmental advocates pointed out that intentionally polluting, especially in a city like Salt Lake, which already struggles with poor air quality, puts public health at serious risk. The Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment emphasized that these violations weren't isolated incidents, but part of a repeated pattern that increased dangerous levels of harmful particles and nitrogen oxides in the air. Despite the legal and environmental backlash, the Discovery Channel didn't make any public statements or cancel the show. Still, the lawsuit affected the wholesome, family-friendly image the Diesel brothers had built. Jokes that once seemed harmless were now read differently, and it became hard to separate the real-life legal issues from the entertainment. Constantly under scrutiny, Diesel Dave and Heavy D often had to defend themselves, mainly through social media. Their lawyer worked hard to protect their reputation, presenting them as creative builders rather than lawbreakers. The attorney explained that many of the trucks they showcased were concept trucks meant for off-road use, not public roads, and argued that the brothers genuinely believed their actions were legal. They also noted that the duo had offered help to fix emissions problems. Many might have expected the brothers to shrink from the spotlight or disappear, but they didn't. New episodes of their Discovery Channel show continued to air throughout 2022, and they stayed active on Facebook and YouTube, showing stunts, truck builds, and running their popular giveaways. Fans were divided. Environmental groups criticized them, saying their fame encouraged others to copy illegal modifications and normalize harmful behavior. At the same time, many fans continued to support them, seeing the duo as victims of government overreach who were simply having fun. Their frequent giveaways may have been a big reason for this ongoing support. For Diesel Dave, the lawsuit seemed to change him personally. His previously outgoing, family-focused personality became more private. He started sharing more family moments on social media, often appearing in skits with his kids, pets, and playful pranks. This became his way of keeping the brand appealing to fans, despite the controversies that had once dominated headlines. While many people stayed quiet, others spoke out. The Diesel brothers decided to end their show. In a 2023 Spark Motors website announcement, they confirmed they would stop the show and return to creating content on their own, just like when they started. By June 2025, AutoGuide reported that the brothers had moved on to a new project called Scrapyard Kings. In this new show, teams compete in do-it-yourself challenges using salvaged parts, similar to Junkyard Wars. The participants are split into 3 teams and must build vehicles to complete challenges on land, in the air, and on water. Each team starts with a budget to buy a car, and then scavenges a junkyard for extra parts to improve their vehicles. They work on their creations at their home bases using the materials they found. Episodes are released on Heavy D's YouTube channel, which now has over 4.38 million subscribers, mostly airing on Saturdays. While people watch with some doubt, there is also hope. Diesel Dave and his partner took the challenges seriously and built something impressive, all while following the law. But how did Dave rise to fame? Let's find out. Diesel Dave's journey to stardom. Diesel Dave, born David Kiley on June 17th, has always been a figure surrounded by mystery. Even his birth year sparks debate. Some say 1974. Others claim 1984. His birthplace is equally uncertain. Some stories place him on an Air Force base in Levick, Texas, while others insist he was born in Farmington. If Texas is correct, it's said his family later moved to Utah. From the very beginning, Dave's life seemed shaped by service and discipline. He comes from a line of military men, which fueled his fascination with the armed forces from a young age. His great-grandfather fought in both the First and Second World Wars, while his father served in the Air Force as a mortarman in the 99th Infantry during World War II. Dave himself once tried to enlist, but was turned away due to a shoulder injury. His younger brother joined the Marines, and Dave often spoke about how watching his family push themselves beyond limits deepened his respect for military life. But alongside this admiration for discipline was another passion that would define him: trucks. From a young age, Dave was captivated by vehicles, always tinkering, learning, and experimenting, seeking ways to make them faster, stronger, and more powerful. And it was this passion that fate used to write one of the most important chapters of his life. One day, at a singles gathering of the Mormon Church of the Latter-day Saints in Lake City, Utah, Dave met Heavy D. Both had attended hoping to meet future spouses who shared their faith, but destiny had other plans. Instead of romance, they found a profound friendship, one that would evolve into a business partnership and a brotherhood. The spark came during a casual outing to a nearby lake, when Heavy D, in a comical mishap, accidentally filled Dave's diesel truck with gasoline. The duo spent hours fixing the problem, and along the way, conversations flowed about dreams, ambitions, and a shared vision for a diesel-powered auto shop that could serve trucks, four-wheel drives, and SUVs alike. Their mutual love for diesel engines and complementary skills, Dave's technical expertise, and Heavy D's marketing genius laid the foundation for what would become the Diesel Brothers empire. Their first venture together, Diesel Sellers, launched in 2008. It began modestly, an online business selling customized diesel trucks, parts, and accessories. Their early growth relied on word of mouth and small classified ads, but Sparks soon recognized the power of social media. They began documenting their work, behind-the-scenes videos of truck transformations, before and after shots, and footage of trucks performing feats that showcased their power. Their content quickly went viral, amplified further by truck giveaways. Fans who purchased even $5 worth of Diesel Sellers merchandise could win a fully customized truck. These giveaways weren't just marketing stunts. They were invitations for fans to experience the trucks firsthand and become part of the Diesel Brothers community. Their rising fame caught mainstream attention. Jay Leno spotted one of their videos and invited them to appear on The Tonight Show, an appearance that opened even more doors. Shortly afterward, Discovery Channel approached them to develop a reality series. Initially skeptical, thinking the calls were scams, Dave and Heavy D eventually agreed. On January 4th, 2016, Diesel Brothers premiered, featuring Diesel Dave, Heavy D, and 2 other team members. The show ran for 6 seasons, providing audiences with an inside look at the duo's creative genius, sweat-drenched work ethic, and daredevil stunts. What made the show stand out was its authenticity. Every episode captured the grit of long shop hours, the roar of engines, and the thrill of off-road adventures that tested both the trucks and their creators. There were jaw-dropping customizations, hair-raising stunts, and unforgettable incidents, like an accidental truck fire that left fans gasping. Beyond entertainment, it highlighted a culture of camaraderie and generosity. The truck giveaways weren't just marketing. They were a heartfelt thank you to the fans who had propelled them to stardom. The chemistry between Dave and Heavy D was magnetic. While Dave's larger-than-life personality made him instantly beloved by fans, Heavy D worked behind the scenes, building community and maximizing the brand's reach. Together, they weren't just selling trucks. They were cultivating a culture, a movement that inspired countless others to chase their own dreams. Yet, with fame came scrutiny. The same platforms that propelled their success also shone a light on their missteps. Diesel Dave, whose humor-filled, family-oriented charm had once captivated fans, faced the harsh reality of legal battles that tested his reputation. So, what are your thoughts on the startling revelation about Diesel Dave from the Diesel Brothers? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.